347-709-0655 is the number to dial. It's your boy Izzy Infinity. You're now tuned in to BallandCRadio.com, the hottest station on the internet nation. Let's get it cracking tonight. You already know I got the legendary Jonathan Latex coming up at 10 o'clock, so don't you dare miss that. Also, I have a little ballroom lottery coming up later. Don't forget, we also have the New Generation Presents the Domination Animation, 9 o'clock, March 29th in St. Petersburg. Let's get it cracking. BallandCRadio.com is the hottest station on the internet nation. It's your boy Izzy Infinity. 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. Hit us up right now.
Left speaker. Check. Right speaker. Check. Mic. Check. Banging beats. Check. Here we go.
Yes. 347-709-0655. Check it out. It's your boy Izzy Infinity. Here's some new music by me. Here's Marsha, Mary Tyler Moore.
Marsha, living color, looking very scary. She's here, she's queer, get used to her. She's Tyler Moore, she's Mary. 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 She's just caught face, so grab the queen by her throat. In the club, feeling fine, looking like Love Star 69. She's Tyler Moore, she's Mary. 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 Like dollars without the digits, you're like ruffles without the fridges. What do you say when your coins are gone? Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan. Tyler Moore, Mary. Tyler Moore, Mary. Tyler Moore, Mary. Tyler Moore, Mary. She lives up the block, she works up the block. There's trade up the block, she is up the block. She lives up the block, she works up the block. There's trade up the block, she is up the block. She's Tyler Moore, she's Mary. 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 Honey, you know, you remind me of that Calvin Klein fragrance. Eternity. Because you're ugly. Forever. What's a girl supposed to do when they're all up in your face? Reach in your purse, pull out Chanel and spray Mason that bitch's face. She's married. Just caught face, so grab the queen by her throat. In the club, feeling fine, looking like Love Star 69. Just caught face, so grab the queen by her throat. In the club, feeling fine, looking like Love Star 69. Contestants for the next category, please take your places. By the way, if anyone has happened to find a pair of size 12 and a half black leather pumps, please bring them back to the ball and get your reward. Cause sister's not gonna work stealing a pump. Give it back. What do you say when the money's gone? Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan. What do you say when the man is gone? Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan. What do you say when the money's gone? Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan. What do you say when the man is gone? Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan. Tyler Moore, she's married. She's Tyler Moore, she's married. She's Tyler Moore, she's married. She's Tyler Moore, she's married. Feel like dancing, feel like singing. What is that? Your shoe phone's ringing? I didn't think so. See, it's time for a reality check. I'm more like Louie Girl, and you're more like Conway. I'm more Stella, and your chips are hard. See, I'm the New York Times, baby. And well, here's your street news. You get the picture? I'm Tyler Moore, she's married. She's 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 married. She's married. She's Tyler Moore, she's married. She's Tyler Moore, she's married. She's Tyler Moore, she's married. She's married. She's Tyler Moore, she's married. She's Tyler Moore, she's married. She's Tyler Moore, she's married. She's Marsha 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 Moore, she's married. She's married. She's married. She's married.
Good morning, everyone. It's Melissa calling out of Largo, Florida, and you are tuned into my favorite radio station, The Morning Kiki. I love it.
347-709-0655 is the number to dial. It's your boy Izzy Infinity. I have the legendary Jonathan Latex calling out of New York City. Coming up at 10 o'clock. You already know what time it is. Once again, don't forget to hit us up at Twitter at Ballroom Radio, or check us out on Facebook.com/BallroomSceneRadio.com. I got some ballroom scene trivia. I got the gag polls coming up. I got the live challenges coming up. Don't forget, hit us up. 347-709-0655. We're going to serve it like this. and gentlemen, please give it up for Zareth. I got Zareth live on the air. Say what's up.
Hey, what's up?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have Zareth on a special exclusive interview real quick because he is a ballroom scene producer and he is one of the youngest, right?
Well, I don't know about that. There are other producers that I know of that are younger than me.
Right. Of course. But for those who don't know, give a little bit about yourself. You know, let everybody know who you are and what you do.
Well, I go by the name of Seraph in the professional field of music and the music industry. I am called Ani Ninja. I am in the house of Ninja, and I've been producing music since 2007, 2008. At first, it was rap and hip hop, but a few years ago, starting this year, I've got attention and awareness and involvement in the ballroom community, so I decided to produce house music for, you know, runway tracks, performance tracks, you name it. So basically, when did I start?
Right.
Well, I think it's about 3 years from now.
Okay.
Since I've involved in the ballroom scene.
So 3 years, that's what's up. All right, give it up for Zareth, my dude. All right, tell me more about the producing.
Well, when it comes to production, like, I'm more focused on creating original content. Like, as for the ballroom scene, you know, we have the very well-known hot dance. I do my best to not sample that as much as possible. Like, I don't want it to be, like, sound repetitive or anything. I wanted to create original productions, like, no samples, no nothing. Just start from scratch and, you know, make original material. And every now and then I post new material on my SoundCloud, which you can visit me at soundcloud.com/IamSeraph, which is IAMXERAPH via SoundCloud. So,
Yeah, actually check
and then I just
rocked it a couple of days. Actually, I don't know. I listened to it for like 2-3 days. I enjoyed it.
mhm.
So give me a little insight, and as far as, you know, what else you want to do, you know, with the ballroom and the music, and do you have any ideas on what's coming up next? Can you spill some tea? Can you spill some, like, you know, some exclusive, not, you know, anything new coming up?
Actually, I'm working on new music right now, and I have a mixtape called House of Thirst. It's a compilation mixtape of the beats that I've produced in the past few years. I decided to release it now. I just finished mixing it and mastering it for release. So it's on my SoundCloud page, which is available free for download. It's for promotional use only. And my intention is, like, to pave the way for new and upcoming producers. You know, just to be an inspiration of people that's upcoming, and for primarily my intention is to succeed in the music industry and make the ballroom scene more aware, be aware of the public eye. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm more of a mainstream, like, that's the path I'm going. So yeah, it is what it is.
I bet. All right, let's get into some of your music. I see you have a lot of tracks up on SoundCloud. You have The House of Seraph, right? You have Work for the Gods Hug. You have Bitch, I'm a Star. You have Deuce X Machina featuring G. Ross, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You have Trunkalize, what is it? Trunkzilla, Hot feature Lil Jon.
Yes.
Armand got it.
Yes, sir.
Give me a little bit. As a matter of fact, let's start from the beginning. How did you get into producing?
Well, it all started around circa 2007, 2008. So originally I was aiming for graphic design, which I do that on the side as well.
Okay.
So a friend of mine in high school introduced me to music producing. So I started off with rap and hip hop, producing beats for that genre. So I wanted to open myself up, like expand my horizons. So I was interested in electronic dance music, house music, and especially I'm in the gay lifestyle. I eventually see the ballroom scene when I moved down here to Atlanta in 2009.
Oh, that's right. Shout out to Atlanta, Georgia, by the way.
Yes, sir.
We didn't forget. But give me a little bit about the track "Bitch I'm a Star." What is that about? How did you come up with that idea? What was going through your mind when you produced this track?
Actually, "Bitch I'm a Star." That track is one of the very few tracks that I started from the very beginning when I was introduced to house music and the ballroom scene. Okay. So as I got that inspiration from other well-known producers and DJs that you may know of in the ballroom scene, such as B. Ames, Rolanda Moore, and Cool Beat Productions, just to name a few.
Yes.
And they all inspire me, so if they're hearing this, shout out to them. Much love to every one of them.
Yeah, shout out to them. Especially DJ Mikey Q and all the rest. They doing their thing. I really want to give them a round of applause. They are definitely inspiring. But keep going.
Yeah, well, the track "Bitch I'm a Star," I wanted to, stir up the pot, like start, beginning to, start my own fire. So that specific track is very experimental. After that track, I released it. I re-edited it. I remixed it. All of that stuff just to make it sound perfect on any stereo systems that whoever that's playing with it. So I would say, yes, I would say that that track started me on inspiring myself to finish that mixtape, which is called House of Seraph. Well, I put it. Actually, I named it because it just sounded original, like, I'm very...
way to introduce yourself and start. I like it. Actually, I think it's perfect. So, shout out to you for that. When I got in, I was like, oh, right, yes, there's another way. It's like all the Power Rangers are, like, united together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that. You know what I mean? I like stuff like that. So, I don't know what I mean. Once again, hold on real quick. For those who want to call us up, have some questions, I'm my boy Seraph right here, and his album House of Seraph. By the way, give a round of applause. Hit us up 347-709-0655 is the number to dial, and get tuned into Ball Scene Radio, the hottest station on the Internet Nation. But yes, Seraph, let's get back to you once again. And
all right.
Let me ask you a question. So far, what do you have in mind on futuristic things that you see yourself doing for the ballroom scene and this whole music movement?
Right now I'm slowly on working with other producers and DJs, and actually right now I have another mixtape, which is House of Seraph 2, part 2 of the installation of House of Seraph. So right now I'm currently reaching out to people that would want to collab, especially providing me vocals for my upcoming productions. I would want to experiment with other people's vocals, so we're working on that behind the scenes right now.
I definitely feel you. Supporting the LGBT community in the ballroom scene, that's what it's all about, right? I know that's why I do it.
So when it comes to like producing these productions every now and then, it's not that easy because to me I have to get inspired by other people, and then I would take that inspiration and create something of my own.
Right.
And it's not as easy as it seems, but it's possible that it might be a hit, or you just never know. Everything is experimental.
Well, everything is an artwork. Remember, to be a recording artist is to be an artist. You know what I mean? You can create art.
Right.
There's no right or wrong way to do it, so there should be no criticism on that. If you can see a painting on the wall, with splash here of red and a little dash of purple and pink, and then a black line with some brown letters over it or something, and call it a Picasso, you know what I'm saying, costs $1 billion, then you can make a track. You know what I'm saying? Because it's piece of artwork. That's just how I see it. But you know what? How did you come up with the album title, by the way?
Actually, House of Fire wanted to use that because it's actually that's the name of my independent record label, which I am currently establishing. Like, why not just use my stage name and create something more out of it?
Right. And would you say that your genre of music would stick to the ballroom scene, or are you planning to do much more besides music for the ballroom scene?
The genres that I specialize are rap, hip hop, and house. Those 3 genres I put my focus on.
What about R&B? You left it out. You left out
R&B. Well, I let the other girls have it. So everybody can't do R&B. So it's something that I don't specialize.
All right. Okay. I got 2 more questions. Well, I got a bunch of more questions. One is,
all right,
who inspired you on this album?
Oh wow, this mixtape. Well, we all know most of us know the movie Paris is Burning.
Right. The legendary Paris is Burning.
Yes, the legendary Paris is Burning. So I watched it multiple times, and I even have the soundtrack as well, like all of the tracks, all of the music that's played when that film is documented.
Right.
So it's tracks for old way, new way, performance, all of that. So I would say that film plus the music that made the film inspired me, and along with that, the people that were there before I, started to put myself out there, like D.A.'s, Belana Lore, Mike Q, all of those people that did dramatic tracks, all of that, remixes of the hot dance, runway tracks, you name it. I got my inspiration from that. So I really look up to those people to make my own creative original material to be in existence, and it's just amazing. So I mean, words can't explain enough, but it's possible. So if I can do it, people before me that's on the come up can do it too. So I'm all about talent.
Yes, and I live for talent. I am one type of person that I appreciate, and I'm not a shitty person. I'm not a shitty person at all. I am actually a lovable, nice guy, and I am very professional, but enough about me. I want to know, out of these celebrities growing up, who were these inspiring legacies that you follow behind? Like, what celebrities do you look up to as,
Wow. I actually didn't really, my idol, well, there's so many people that I can't even name, just put it into 3. I don't know. I have so many people. Like, it's not even celebrities. It's just your normal people and the even local people. It ain't about celebrities and stuff. Like, I don't know. I just never thought about making a list for my favorite celebrities. So can't really say.
Fair enough. All right. Do you have any features on this album?
The House of Sarah.
Well, on both of them. Do you have any features? Who are you featuring? I want to know who is hanging around you. Who's working in the lab with you. You know what I mean?
Well, let's first talk about House of Sarah. I have featured like G. Ross, which is a very good friend of mine, and I took samples from other artists like Lil Jon, and I even sampled Beyonce's voice on her track Say My Name, and started making a track called Stay Sooth. And I took Lady Gaga's Sade vocals and made a road mix of that. And I also worked with Jay Blonick. Me and him had some projects, and especially recently he had the Boombox contest, and he told producers to remix it.
Yeah,
so I decided to.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. I was really amazed of how that track came out. It took me like a week or so just to produce that track from scratch. And my job was to promote it as much as I can on YouTube and SoundCloud. And I ended up having the most views and plays. So the contest rules was whoever promoted their track the most with the most SoundCloud plays and YouTube plays would be announced the winner. And he ended up liking the track of the remix that I did to his Boombox track. And it actually sounds very well. It has that house feel that with rock elements in it. So I would like for people to hear it, so I can how do I say it? It's better than you hear it than I tell you. So
right.
And as for House of Seraph, as for House of Seraph 2, I'm still in production of that.
Right.
So this, because I'm having, so many options and so many, experimental methods. So that's what I'm working right now. So it's in production. So I can't really say that much. I have a little snippets of it published out, but that's all I have.
All right. Are you getting any contributions towards the album so that way you could, go hardcore with it? Like, who is helping you and sponsoring you in this project?
Actually, I'm working on these projects and most of my mixtapes by myself. And as of right now, nobody hasn't come to me for contributions yet, but if they do, then I'm willing to participate and contribute as long as we both understand the concept. So,
trust. If you won that contest with Jay Blonick, speaking of Jay Blonick, Father Jay Blonick, shout out to you, then you're definitely on the come up. You know what I mean? Like, you should be very, very proud. Like, I'm gagging over here, But, Are there any personal songs on the album that you have?
Any personal songs?
Yeah. Or any special songs? Like, any favorites? Like what's that means something special? Or like, one that you went in on, or like what's your favorite track that you can do so far? Something like that.
Well, for House of Seraph, I remember I have some few tracks that I really enjoy doing. There's a track called Vogue Angel. Everything was made from scratch. Yes, Vogue Angel, the original mix. I've been working on that track for like a year, and then I finally made it sound right. Everything is mixed properly, so Vogue Angel is a very special electronic dance track that I did. And I would really say that track really stand out. I would like to use it to, let other people dance to it. Like, a lot of people like to vote to certain tracks and then post it on YouTube. I would like to see a certain voter vote to that track in any form that they would like to use.
Are there any artists that you didn't get to put on the track or on the album that you would have loved to work with?
I have a lot. I have a lot of them. Well, as for House of Stairs 2, that's when I am reaching out to other people. I would love to work with Kevin Prodigy. Like, everybody knows Kevin. And I have yet to contact him as of now, but I will contact him later in the future. And there's this track that I did with B.A.'s, however, I decided not to put it on House of Stairs. The first installation, I will make sure that he will be heard on House of Stairs 2. So, let's see what else. Probably Jay Blomwick again, just when I ever decided to go that route. And that's all I can say right now. But you never know. I might have like so many other people that you just might never know.
I hope I'm on one of your future lists.
Well, sure, no problem. I work with everybody. I work with everybody that's willing.
All right, cool. What's one thing that you learned while, working on producing albums?
Well, I would have to say that, in general, even outside the ballroom scene, music production in general, that it takes time and it's very tedious sometimes. And you can't sit on the laptop all day, and try to take breaks every now and then, because sitting on that chair is not very good for you. And sometimes you will have producer's block. You will need to take a break and all of that. Sometimes it's very frustrating, but it's possible. There's nothing impossible about it. So that's what I've learned.
Do you have any music videos planned up? Any music videos coming up, or planning to do a music video for anything?
No actual official music videos. When it comes to music videos, that requires a budget and a whole lot of planning. I would like to start, you have music videos. It would be very interesting if I would create both music videos, just like music videos. Like, it doesn't even need to have vocals or anything, like a dance music video. Something new, something different other than the music videos that you see on YouTube or, on...
We're going to have to talk, because me and Jay Blank, we have a little feature project coming up, so we're going to have to talk behind the scenes. Real quick, 347-709-0655 is the number. BonusRadio.com is the hottest station in the Internet Nation. Real quick, are you managed by anyone? Do you have a manager? Are you managing yourself? How is this going down?
I have no manager yet. I am freelance and independent. So that's my situation right now. Everything that I do is independent and freelance. I'm not managed by anyone else as of right now.
What would you like to tell your fans
about all my fans.
Yes,
I love my fans very much for supporting me and what I do. And everything that I do, like after the next track and everything else, that I will always come up with something new, fresh. So I'm not the type of person that to just release content continuously and consistently, then I'm more of a surprising type. Like, you know, when Beyonce released her recent album without no promotions or anything, sometimes I can be very surprising, or you know, just I can be very surprising. You know, just release one track today and the other next week or something. You just never know. But as for my fans, yeah. As for my fans, I always surprise them with something.
Yeah, shout out to the fans, by the way. Call us up, 347-709-0655, or log on to the free account to BallingScRadio.com. It is not just a website, it is a social network, so you need to get into it. Darn it, no shit. What would you like to tell all your viewers?
All I can say is 2 words. Thank you.
Okay. Wow, that is the best answer that I could imagine. But yes, once again, give us a little promo where they can find your music, House of Seraph album.
Alright, well, everyone, my name is Seraph, and you can find me on my official website, seraphworld.com. That's SERAPHWORLD.com, where you can find every social network that is available on that website. And as for music, check out my SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/IamSeraph. That's IAMSERAPH. You know, once again, I go by the name of Seraph. I am also called Pani Ninja from the legendary House of Ninja. And shout out to all my Ninja family that's listening. And shout out to every other houses, everyone else that's active and being productive and creative in the ballroom community. So, and like they said, stop the violence, raise the talent.
Okay, definitely. Thanks for helping me out here. That was amazing. I definitely enjoyed having you on the show. I love your music, and I definitely have to get up with you behind the show, by the way, because we have to talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we have a lot of
All right.
Don't forget, I got Ballroom Scene Credit Lottery coming up soon. And also,
all right,
I have the legendary JONATHANE Latex at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be right back right after these messages. Don't go nowhere, all right? I'm going to put you on hold, Zero. 347-709-0655, the hottest station on the Internet Nation. Don't play yourself. BallroomSceneRadio.com.
DJ Mike Production.
Funky Show, and it is the Naughty Pastor himself. Don't forget, that number is 347-709-0655. You already know.
You are now listening to DJ Mike.
Ding da da, dum 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 bra. Boom dum boom 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 boom. Boom. Dum 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 bra. Dum to the bra. Bri-baba, 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 ding dong dong, ding dong dong. Rub it down, do-do-do, 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 dum 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 dum. Ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Dum 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 bra.
Mixing it up.
I got a little J Blonic coming up next. Don't forget, I got Jonathan Latex coming up soon. 10 o'clock, so stay tuned.
Oh, y'all girlfriend? I'm feeling like shit. Y'all didn't have, did you? DJ, give me. I'm feeling like shit. 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 I'm feeling. I'm feeling. I'm feeling. I'm feeling. I'm feeling like you. I'm feeling. I'm feeling. I'm feeling. I'm feeling like. I'm feeling. I'm feeling like. I'm feeling like shit. 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 DJ, give me. I'm feeling like shit.
Good morning, everyone. This is Antonio, calling from Tampa, Florida. You're tuned in to the Morning Key on the Everyday Party Network.
Welcome to ChillLoverRadio.net. Today's show is sponsored by PromoDJ.com, SBSDesigns.com, Open Bar Music, Azúcar Digital Distribution, Media Services NYC.com, Republic Music, DiamondFuse.com, RiseToGrace.com, and ManhattanScreenPrint.com. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
That was Benny Ninja's first statement since the accident.
Hey everyone, this is Pioneer Lifetime Achiever Icon Kevin Omni, and you are now tuned in to the Everyday Party Network.
This is Jay Blonick calling out of Philadelphia, and we're about to spill all this tea on the Morning Kiki. Coming up next.
Tattoo right here on my chest. Yeah, you don't gotta interview none of them other chicken heads out there. I get my credentials from the street, baby. Clock the hair, clock the mug, clock the nails, clock my skirt. You better get into it. Clock the bag, clock the shoe. Now punch the clock, it's time to work. Move over, amateurs, taking mine, taking yours. Somebody to hold my purse. Figure it out like Nancy Drew. Catch on quick like hallelujah. Who gonna check me, boo? Not you. I'm a pro. I'm a pro. I am a professional pro. I'm a pro. I'm a pro. I am a professional work. I came to work. Gucci, Prada, Dolce Gabbana, red bottoms. Yes, I got 'em. No Kardashian collection here. Donna, Karen, Miu Miu, Jimmy Choo, rhinestone shoe. Looks like a pimpo got her tax return. Ferragamo, Chloe Dior, labels. Come on, give me more. You don't need layaway when you cashing checks, baby.
There's some balls in this house. 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 And they're about to turn it out. And they're about to turn it out. And they're about to turn it out. And they're about to turn it out.
I'm a pro. I'm a pro. Honey, I am a professional pro. I'm a pro. I'm a pro. I am a professional. Work. I came to work. I'm here to work. I am a professional. Work. I'm here to work. I'm here to work. I am a professional. Professional. Oh, what? Oh, so y'all want me to leave? Oh, no, you ain't gotta call security on me. I came up the elevator. I can leave back down the elevator. Okay, I know she better quit rolling her eyes at me from behind that cubicle. I know that. Oh, no, I have a ride home. Thank you. Is the bus still running? What?
Great music that makes you want to turn up the volume. 3, loud. 2, 1. This is your DJ in the mix.
Don't forget I got legendary JONATHANE LATEX coming up. About to turn it out for y'all. 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. You're tuned into BallroomSceneRadio.com. I am Izzy Infinity. Generation presents the Animation Domination Ball Saturday, March 29th at 9 o'clock p.m. at First Dance Studios, 5098 North 66th Street, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33709. You already know where you heard it first, BallroomSceneRadio.com. Come with a band. Call us up 347-709-0655. It's your boy Izzy Infinity, Ball Scene Radio, the hottest station on the internet.
live on a clock, and you're tuning into the fucking hottest Kiki on the net, the morning Kiki at everydaypartynetwork.com. So lock your doors, lower your blinds, and fire up your choke machines, bitches, because I just put on my heels. Are you ready for the Kiki?
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you Jonathan Latex. Seven 7090655 is the number to dial. It's your boy Izzy Infinity. You're tuned into BallroomSceneRadio.com, the hottest station on the internet nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you and present to you Jonathan Latex. Latex, Jonathan, say what's up.
Yo, what's up?
What's going on?
Chilling, man, chilling. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, something. It's been a long time. It's been a hot minute.
Well, let's start off first. You're in Brooklyn currently, right?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn. I'm Best Eye.
Shout out to Brooklyn. Best Eye in the building. How's Brooklyn going for you?
Not bad. I'm liking it. It's cold up in this mall right now. It's cold, but I like the cold weather, so it's good. It's all good.
And you love Brooklyn. You represent Brooklyn to the death. What's going on?
Yeah, Brooklyn's cool. Brooklyn's cool. You know what I mean? I'm doing well, living my life and doing my thing. Brooklyn's cool. I can't complain, son. I can't complain.
All right, let's get into the interview. Everybody's been waiting all day.
No problem.
Say all night. Check it out, Jonathan Latex. When did you first start your experience with the ballroom scene in the LGBT community?
My experience.
Lies. Wait. State your name first and who you are before we go on to that question, please.
Okay. My name is Jonathan Latex. I was a member of the House of Latex with Albert Latex and Torrance Latex as my house mother and father. And I got down with the house back in 1993. Yeah, back in 1993. I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and he was also a member of the House of Latex, and we went for a ride one night. He got a hold of the GMAC van, and we went for a ride one night, and the van was packed with condoms, lubricants, all kinds of information for the whole community. We go for a ride, and we end up doing outreach. We end up spending the whole night going one place to another, giving out condoms, giving out lubricants, giving out phone numbers, giving out information, and it was just a joke, actually. To tell you the honest to God truth, it started out as a joke, and after that night, I remember I went home, and I said to myself, yo, I really kind of enjoyed that, to tell you the truth. I liked it. So from that point on, I GMAC with my boy, and he introduced me to Albert. Albert liked me as a person. Albert said, you know, I see you for realness, this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. And to a certain degree, this was all new to me. Alright, this was all new to me. I thought I was going to get down with this group and go hand out condoms and talk to people and hand out some phone numbers where they can call, they can get some information, they can get some answers. And I thought that was it.
Like a telethon.
Yeah, I thought that was it. But as time went on, I learned more about the ballroom scene and that whole aspect of it. And I just kind of fell right into it.
Wow. All right. Now let's take it back a little bit. First of all, I want to say, may he rest in peace. Shout out to the legendary, iconic father, Albert Latex.
Yes, mama.
Yes, we all miss him so much. I love you so much. He's watching down on all of us, and he's spraying us with all his creativity and his magic so we can all be blessed. Trust me, I feel it. No shade.
Hell yeah.
But it's the truth. Listen, let's take it back a little bit. Let's start a little bit when you first came out, and how was the LGBT community in that time before the ball scene? How did it all start? Yeah, how did it all start? How did it all happen for you? Well, coming out of the closet. Let's take it back a little bit.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, well, you're going to take it way back. Listen, you're going to take it way back. You're going to take it back to my first day of high school.
Let's take it back.
Yeah, you're going to take it back to my first day of school, my sophomore year. Right, my sophomore year. I made up my mind that, you know, Mom and Pop were doing everything they could to put food on the table and keep the roof over my head. I said, the least I can do is be honest with them. Now, I was lucky. And that's like, lucky isn't the word. I was really blessed. You know, I had some good parents. So, in that respect, I said, you know what? Let me just be honest with them and let the chips fall where they may. So, first day of school, my sophomore year in high school, and I told my moms before I went to school, and she said, are you sure? And I said, yeah. She said, well, baby, how do you know? And the only response I could give to her was, well, Mommy, how do you know you're straight? Wow. How do you know that you like men? Wow. And she really didn't have it. And it wasn't anything, I wasn't trying to be sarcastic or anything, but that was the only response I could give her. I was like, Mom, how do you know this is what you like? You just know it. It's what you feel. It's what you know is right for you.
Wow.
So, and she, I didn't think it was powerful at that time. I just thought that was the only response I had. You know, I didn't realize that this would resonate throughout the rest of my life. You know, my father, I told in the car, because my pops was taking me to school, dropped me off at my cousin's house, because we caught the bus together to go to high school. And he said, well, again, are you sure? And I said, yeah, you know, this is, you know, it's who I am. He said, well, I didn't raise you that way. I said, well, nobody raises a child to be gay or straight. You know what I'm saying? Nobody raises a child to be gay or straight. If you're lucky, you have parents who raise you to be happy and healthy, and whatever else comes is gravy. All right? Just be happy, just be healthy, and whatever else happens is what they call collateral damage. You know, whatever else happens is circumstantial. You know, and so I explained to him, you know, you didn't raise me to be gay. Your mother and father didn't raise you to be straight. You know, so he dropped me off from school, and I went to school that day like nothing, you know, like nothing. Like, yo, I got this off my chest. Mom and Pop know what the deal is. I'm going to leave it at that. And we never discussed it. After that. It was just, yeah, there was nothing nasty. There were no fights. But like I said, you know, I was really blessed. I I was really blessed. I know that they weren't completely comfortable with it because they hadn't had to, they didn't have a chance or an opportunity, I should say. They didn't have an opportunity to deal with this with anybody else. You know, this was their first time, you know, dealing with someone who was gay face to face, and this person is their son. You see, so it was a case of they really had no choice but to deal with it in one way, shape, or form.
How do you think they felt about that? Like, was it hard for them to deal with it inside, or did they show any?
I think that maybe they were saying to themselves, you know, what did I do wrong? Or maybe if he spent more time doing this, or maybe if he spent more time doing that. But that wasn't what I was thinking. My parents didn't do anything wrong. They raised me, first and foremost, to be a gentleman, gay or straight. Alright? That's the way they raised me. They raised my brother and I to be gentlemen. And I still carry that to this day. You know, I still carry that to this day. I live here in Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? I do my thing in Brooklyn. And in the back of my head, I always hear my mother's voice when I do something. Because that's the way she raised me. You know, that's the way she raised me. And my brother's the same way. You know, my brother's the same way. We always hear our mother and papa's voice in the back of our head when we're doing something, when we're saying something. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of stuff that comes out of my mouth came out of my mother's mouth to me when I was a kid.
Okay. And what happened next? What came after next? What was the next phase?
Say again?
What was the next phase? What happened next?
The next phase. The next phase was coming to grips with the fact that I wasn't alone. You know, I wasn't by myself in this whole gay thing. I knew there were other people out there, but I didn't know who they were. So the next step for me was to find people who looked like me and who acted like me and who liked the same things I liked. So, you know, I went on my little exploration. As small as it was, you know, in Connecticut, which is where I'm from, there really wasn't much of a big community in Connecticut when I was growing up.
Oh, wow.
It just wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, for real, we had one bar on Main Street, downtown Bridgeport. That was it. That was it. It was a little hole in the wall, and there really wasn't much to do. There was a little hole in the wall called Changes. And then across the street from Changes, there was an even smaller bar called Annie's. And those were the really only 2 bars that we had in Bridgeport. Those were the only 2 that we had. You know, there was an even smaller one actually around the corner called the Cass Bar. And they were all dives. They were all holes in the walls, but it was all that we had at the time. You know, it was all that we had. So they played the music, you know, we went in there and danced, we went in there and hung out, and I got to meet people. Now, the problem that I came across is that the people that I met were nice and everything, but they didn't look like me. They didn't talk like me. They didn't act like me, you know. And I was looking for someone that I could relate to, and even though they were very nice people, I couldn't really relate to the way they lived their life. You know, I couldn't really relate to the way they carried themselves in public. I could, you know, yeah, it was very different. It was very different. It was a whole new stuff. So in many cases, I felt like, even though these were people who were like me, at the same time, I felt like I didn't fit in. You know, I felt like I didn't fit in. So there weren't a lot of guys like me in my area. You know, so I in turn had to just deal with that. And then when I came to New York, that's when I little by little began to find guys who were like me, who looked like me, who dressed like me, who acted like me. You know, no disrespect to the dudes who are effeminate, no disrespect to the guys who vogue. You know, I give them props. You know, I give them, because I can't do it, so somebody got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to do it.
All the houses are doing
Hell yeah, because you see them hit the runway, these motherfuckers work. They work hard at what they do, and they practice. So I got to give it to them. But I can't do it, I can't do it. I don't even try. I let those who do it rock, and let them do it, and I just sit back and applaud.
All right, cool. So is that when you were finally introduced to Arbor and the House of Latex and the ballroom scene came along, or?
Yeah, I was introduced to Arbor through a friend of mine named Angel. I was introduced to Arbor through Angel, and through Arbor I met Torrance, and I expressed how much fun we had doing the outreach. I didn't even know it was called outreach at the time. How much fun I had giving out the condoms and the lubricant and all the information and so on and so forth, answering the questions that I could, and I said I wanted to learn more. Right. And he said, all right, but this is what we're going to do.
Shout out to outreach.
Yeah, absolutely. The main purpose of the House of Latex, and Arbor always said this, he said, we educate first and we walk second. Right. And that's what really hit me. That's what really hit me, because at that point in time, the House of Latex was really the only house that had a purpose other than performance, other than labels, other than Bush cleanup and drags. They had a purpose, and their purpose was to educate the ballroom and house community, people of color, about HIV and AIDS. And once I found out what their purpose was, I said, okay, if I'm going to get down, if I'm going to rock with this, then this is where I want to be. And I stayed. Alright, I stayed, and I was a loyal member of the House of Latex for about 10 years.
Shout out to all my loyal people, my loyal heads out there that's tuning in.
That's it.
I really appreciate y'all. We need as many of y'all as we can get.
I hear that, yeah. That's the truth. So yeah, that's how I met Arbor. And he and I sat and talked, and he told me what the whole purpose of the House of Latex was. And I liked the idea. And I said, well, like I said, if I'm going to do this, get down with this whole ballroom thing, then this is where I want to be. Because I like the fact that Arbor and Torrance always stressed to us that we educate first and we walk second.
Right.
Okay, so the importance was get the information out there, put it in the hands of our people. Let them know that there's a place they can go to ask questions, to get answers. And I like that. The trophies and stuff and the applause, that's great, but at the same time, that was secondary for us. That was secondary. There are plenty of houses, and you know very well, who will get up and, fight for a trophy. Okay, I'm not doing that. I would never do that. They will fight for a trophy. They will fight for their house. And to other houses, that looks like loyalty. That looks like respect. Now, to me, it looks foolish.
Right.
Because in my eyes, the house community and the way we did it was always, we educate first. Get the information out there. Put it in their hands so they can read it, so they can see it. Let them know that there's somebody out there who looks like them, who talks like them, who acts like them, who's also educated enough to give them the information that they need.
Latex power.
Yeah. L-A-T-E-X, son.
L-A-T-E-X. Many people know this, but they're going to know this now. But I started out as a latex as well.
Yes, you did.
You remember me?
Yes, I do.
I've played my part with the outreach and, going state to state around the United States, traveling with the House of Latex and doing outreach, safe sex campaigns and teaching about HIV and AIDS awareness and teaching, actually about STDs and how to properly use a latex condom.
Right, which was surprising. That was what was very surprising to me, is that most dudes didn't know how to properly use a condom.
It's a key, because I felt the same way a lot of people, when I used to try to demonstrate it, they used to think it was a kinky, I was playing around. But me, I have that personality, so I would turn into like a little drag show a little bit. And I would get, sarcastic and funny and, the punchlines and the naughty jokes and stuff. And then I would demonstrate them, so I wouldn't feel stupid and embarrassed, you know. So I would put on like this little performance and stuff, you know. That's one of the keys.
Right, but you had to.
Yeah, I use that too.
You had to.
Yeah, to basically sell it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of the things that we were taught is that you don't have to come down, so to speak, to someone's level, but you got to talk to them in a way that they'll understand.
You know, I still do it,
you know?
By the way, to this day.
I still
teach outreach. I still practice safe sex. And I also have a new channel that's going to be coming soon, which is called, y'all ready?
We're ready.
Radio Outreach. And it's going to be fabulous. It's going to be fabulous. Stay tuned. It's going to be
spread the word.
Yeah, it starts this fall, actually. So please tune into ballroomsceneradio.com, the hottest station on the internet nation, and definitely be a part of Radio Outreach. Especially all my outreach awareness, HIV/AIDS prevention leaders. Please, this is very important. This is a movement. So let's keep the movement going. All right.
That's what we're trying to do.
That's right. 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. Don't forget, hit us up on Twitter at Ballroom Radio, and you can also hit us up on our Facebook page /Ballroom Scene Radio. All right. Once again, I have Jonathan Latex in the building. And
glad to be here.
Check it out. Let's go into the ballroom scene now. Let's talk about the ballroom scene. Well, before let's talk a little bit about how the house used to prep behind the scenes a little bit in the House of Latex. How did Arbor used to keep the house together and prep for the balls before we actually walk the balls?
Well, we used to get together on an average of once a month. We'd have a house meeting once a month at GMHC. That was, of course, run by Albert and Florence. And at one point in time, we were just having a house meeting just to check in with everybody. Because given the way some of the kids were living, not good or bad, just the way they were living, sometimes it would drop out of sight. So we would get together once a month just to touch base with everybody. How's everybody doing? What have you been up to? You know, are you still going to school? So on and so forth. We'd have those meetings once a month. As time went on, not that Albert was so taken over with work and everything, but as time went on, he began to delegate who did what. So when it came time for prepping for the ball and getting ready, so on and so forth, okay, who has this outfit? Who has that outfit? Who's ready to do this? Who's ready to do that? What music are you going to use? Do you have your CD? This, that, and the other. Are you ready? And we would delegate, right? So at one point in time, we put all the realist kids under my watch, so to speak. So I would look out for my kids, as you would say. Made sure I had everybody's phone number, made sure I had everybody's address. Prepping for the balls, okay, what is it you need? Like I said, what music are you going to use? What outfit are you going to wear? How many of us are going to make sure that whoever's walking has the proper amount of support? All right, because that was really important to us. All right, support was really important to us because there was a time in the ballroom scene where the other legendary houses that were already established, didn't really take the House of Latex seriously. Okay, they thought it was a gimmick. You know, they didn't really take us seriously, and for some of the kids, it really hurt.
Right,
it really hurt their feeling.
Aubrey used to tell us, keep doing your outreach and pay it dust and keep it moving.
Yeah, we had to. You know, that's just the way we had to do it. You know, we had to just let them talk and say what they had to say, get it off their chest, and let them know, you know, we're not here for that. You know, I worked the outreach table at every ball that the House of Latex went to. So in many cases, I never got the chance to see the ball because I was always in the lobby working the outreach table. You know, when we started doing street outreach, which is what I had recommended to Albert, I told Albert that I could do street outreach whenever he wanted. So he and I sat down and we sat and talked and we mapped out a plan and a little outreach team. And we had backpacks, and we had, you know, of course, we had condoms available to us all the time. So we would come in once a week, fill up that backpack, and go out into the street and just, and I was doing street outreach 6-7 nights a week.
Wow.
You know, I was doing it 6-7 nights a week. So what I did was I combined the street outreach with the work that I was doing, because I was working for, you know, the major clubs here in the city at the time. So I just combined the two. You know, I combined the two. Prepping for the ball was funny. Prepping for the ball was really, yeah.
Let's take it back. What clubs you used to work at?
Oh, man. I worked for and at Sound Factory Bar. I worked for and at Sound Factory. I worked for the Roxy. But, yeah, I worked the tunnel over on 12th Avenue or the West Side Highway. We see Sound Factory Bar, the tunnel, Toronto. Yeah, and then I worked again Sound Factory when it opened up. It had closed down for a while, then it opened up again on West 46th Street, I believe. And I was working for them for a while. So I did the whole club thing for about 10 years. About 10 years, yeah. I worked, yeah. So I was, you know, I was in it. I was surrounded by it 7 nights a week. You know, it was one club or another, I was there. You know, one club or another, I was there. I was doing Cafe for a long time. That was a Sunday night party. Yeah, that was a Sunday night party. Yeah, so I was surrounded by it. I had flyers. My whole place was full. One side of my apartment was flyers. The other side of my apartment was condoms. You know, so I was just stepping over everything. Yeah. So yeah.
How was it when you actually, when the ball actually came around, when ball season came and you went to the balls? How was your experience at the balls?
I liked it. I really did. I liked it. I liked the fact that we could come together and do what we do. And, you know, it's our thing. It's our thing. I really like that. I liked the music. I liked the camaraderie. I even like some of the shadiness that went along with it. Because, you know, you can't have one without the other. You can't have one without the other. You know, the commentating, you know, you can't have one without the other. So when it comes to all that, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I was able to sit back and go to a ball and sit back and enjoy watching people hit that runway and give it 110%. Okay. I really enjoyed it. You know, I really enjoyed it because I could sit there and say, all right, unlike some of the kids, when the ball was over, you know, I went home. I had work to do, or I had someplace to go. You know, some of these kids live for the next ball. You know, their whole life revolves around. Yeah, their whole life revolves around the ballroom scene, which I couldn't point the finger at because if that's what they choose to do, that's fine. With me, I could really enjoy it. I could go there and I could watch somebody get chopped and not really care because it's not going to affect me. You know what I'm saying? So I loved it. I loved it. You know, I loved it. There are times even now when I want to go to a ball just to hear the music.
Okay.
But just to see some people walk, you know.
Well, now you have ballroomsceneradio.com and you can hear all the legendary songs and the new ones.
Yeah, I know.
24 hours, 7 days a week, don't forget. It's your boy Izzy Infinity.
Yeah, I know it.
JONATHANE LATEX in the building once again. Check it out. Here we go. 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. BallroomSceneRadio.com is our station on the Internet Nation, by the way. Please log on to our social network. Have a ball. And also, Jonathan, do you remember some of the original houses that were out and popping in your time?
Yeah. Oh, wow. During my time, there was the House of Infinity. All right, with
shout out to House of Infinity.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, at that time, with the mother and father was Damien Hector. Yeah, Damien Hector Infinity. The House of Red Lawn. Ooh. The House of Ebony.
They
the House of Ebony.
Back in the day, they were turning it up. Back in the days, yes, I lived.
Yeah. Let me see. The House of Infinity, the House of Ebony, the House of Revlon, the House of Chanel. Okay. The House of Prada came along a little bit later.
Yes.
So the House of Prada came along a little bit later. Yeah. All of them. Because when I was down with the House of Latex in the beginning, we did the HIV and AIDS 101 training. All right, and that's when the House of Latex would go out and bring in other houses and train other houses on how to do outreach, and train other houses on how to talk to people who are HIV positive and or don't know what their status is. You know, and we brought the first one that we did, if I'm not mistaken, the first one that we did was with the House of Infinity. All right, we brought the House of Infinity in for a week-long seminar and talk, and we had games that we did that were all based around communication, how to talk to someone, how to go up to a stranger and bring up the conversation in the ballroom or on the street. We did it for a week, and at the end of that week, everyone who passed got a certificate saying that they were trained, professionally by the House of Latex /GMHC in HIV and AIDS prevention. We did the House of Infinity first. The second house we did, we combined the House of Chanel and the House of Ebony. Yeah. I remember those, yeah. But the very first one that was done, if I'm not mistaken, was the House of Extravaganza. We did an HIV campaign.
House of Extravaganza, yes.
Yeah, we did it. We did an HIV/AIDS campaign, which involved both calendars and posters that were plastered all over the village. They were plastered everywhere. Hector Extravaganza was on the poster. Jose and Louis Extravaganza were on the poster, if I'm not mistaken. And there were other, Danny Extravaganza was in the poster. Yeah, Danny Extravaganza was in the poster. So we had posters that were plastered all over the village. They were plastered all over the city to let people know that, first and foremost, the house community is here. You're not going to, you can turn your back on it if you want to, but it's still going to thrive. Right. Let them know who we are and that we have a purpose. We have a purpose.
All right. What was your memorable, most hottest moment at a ball out of the battles?
Let me see. My most memorable moment. I think my most memorable moment that I can always remember was the very first ball that I went to. All right, the very first ball that I went to was the House of Richards ball in New Jersey.
House of Richards?
It was the House of Richards Black Rose Ball. The Black Rose Ball at the Robert Street Hotel in New Jersey. That's the most memorable because that was the first time I'd ever seen a ball from beginning to end. That was the first time I'd ever saw how enthusiastic these families, which is what they were and what they are, how enthusiastic these families were. And from that day, from that very first ball, every Grand March I have ever seen, I judge by the House of Richards Grand March. Because their Grand March was just, to me, it was extraordinary. It was the first time I'd ever seen something like that. It was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, everybody was dressed to the nines. And the one that I remember was this beautiful woman, Misty Richards. I remember her gown. I remember her gown. I remember her running on the runway in this gown. This is what I remember. And all the people who walked different categories were all dressed according to the categories. All right. The realness dudes were all dressed. I mean, others were done, son. They were done, dipped. All right. But the girls were dressed from head to toe. The performance guys were dressed in catsuits and bright colors and things like that. And from that day forward, every Grand March I've ever seen, I always equated to the Grand March I saw at the Black Rose Ball. Now, another memorable moment, and to this day,
I'm sorry. Every time I go to that.
Yeah, if they're done right. They're crazy. If they're done right. Another memorable moment that I remember in the ballroom scene is with a guy who time went on, became to be a dear friend of mine. He's a great guy. His name is Dennis Revlon. All right. Yeah, Dennis Revlon.
Dennis Revlon. He always used to be with us too, with the latex and the house of latex and the.
Yeah, and I distinctly remember one night there was a ball at the Mark Ballroom here in New York, Mark Ballroom, and Dennis was voguing. And I remember sitting at the table. I look up, I turn to the back, and there's my boy Dennis in this electric green fuzzy jacket and this electric green tights, and his hair was green, and he had on green glasses, and Dennis is a big dude, man. Dennis is a big dude, we love him to death. He's a big teddy bear, and Dennis comes down the runway in this green fuzzy jacket, doing, he's popping, dipping, spinning, stretching, he's voguing time, he's doing this, that, and the other, from one end of the runway right to the judges panel, and I just could not believe it. To this day, I always talk about that time when he showed up in that green jacket, to this day, and this was years ago, and I always remind him of that, and luckily enough, he is proud to have done that, because if he didn't like it, it would be embarrassing. But he was proud that he did it. I was glad that he did it because he gave me a wonderful memory.
Yes.
He gave me a wonderful memory.
I have lots of wonderful memories with Dennis Revlon. Shout out to Dennis Revlon everywhere.
Yeah.
He's
a great guy. Great guy. Can't say one bad thing about him. Can't say one bad thing about him.
What's your favorite category?
Well, the realness, of course. That was mine. That's what I walked. There were times when that category got out of hand, though. That was one of my favorite categories. I like the performance categories because I like to see the way the guys, just go in. Right. They really go in. No matter what the category calls for. If it's, Bush Queen Vogue Femme in 3-inch heels, they go and get the best heels. They're going to let you know that they can do this. And they really, for real, they really put time into preparation. They put time into their dancing. It's good to see somebody be so gun-ho about that.
Right.
I like the bizarre category, too. Because the bizarre category, the bizarre category really brought out the person's creativity. And once again, if it's done right, you can see these people put time and effort into this. And it's good to see that that they have something else on their mind besides winning the trophy. Some of them walk off the runway, and if they don't win, they don't win. But they know that they put time and effort into this outfit. Right. They know that, and they let us know it. The bizarre category is crazy sometimes.
Yes, children. So come out to a ball if you haven't tried a ball. Definitely pay your coins, get your tickets in, and see a ball and see what it's all about. Join the fun. What are some of the new houses of today that you will find interesting?
Some of the new houses. The House of Prada. I'm kind of biased with the House of Prada because one of my dear friends is a Prada. Like I said, they came around later. They weren't around when I first came out. They came around later. I like the House of Prada. They're very classy. They're very classy. They're very elegant. But what I like most about going to a ball, I think, is seeing the roll call. Legends taking these stars. It's really, really important for us to know who the legends are.
Yes.
It's very important for us to know who the legends are, who the statements are, who the stars are, because the legends are the ones that we look to see how it's done correctly. You see, how it's done correctly. I always liked it, as weird as it might sound, I always liked it when there was a discrepancy about a performance or about something from the judges panel, because you would have an old school judge who said, this isn't the way we used to do it. Y'all trying to get away with something. Back in my day, this is the way we did it, and this was the correct way to do it. And then you'd have some little heads who would gather, we're not doing it that way anymore. You got to listen to the legends. All right, you have to give them props. You have to give them respect, because paved the way for the rest of us to be here.
Right, definitely.
You know, they paved the way.
Speaking about
legends, yeah, all of them. All of them.
Everybody, this question, by the way: how many balls must you walk and win in order to truly become a legend?
How many balls must you walk and win? That's a difficult question. That's a difficult question.
And we have many, many answers from other icons and legends and statements.
Oh, I'm sure.
On the show.
I'm sure.
What is your What is your whole insight on that topic right there?
That's a good one. That's a good one. It's a good question, twofold. All right, it's a good question as far as how many balls do you have to walk before you can be considered a legend, the proper way or the other way? Because once again, let's just be honest. All right, I'm just going to be real here. A lot of times on the judges panel, let's be for real now. A lot of times on the judges panel, you got that whole girlfriend thing going on. All right, you got that whole girlfriend thing going on. All right, so you'll have people up there who know that their friend is walking, and regardless of how they bring it on the runway, their friend's going to get their 10 no matter what. You know, whether they bring it right, whether they bring it correct or incorrect, their friend's going to get that 10 no matter what, and that's not fair. So there are some legends, there are some statements, there are some stars who aren't deserving of that because they were given that title as opposed to the true legends who earned it.
Right.
You see. So answering that question is difficult. Because you have to go by what you see and what you know. If you know that there's a legend on the panel and they have a friend that's walking, and even though you're sitting there in the audience and you know damn well this dude did not bring it correctly, but the legend gives them the 10s and now poof, they're legendary. As opposed to somebody who has been walking the same category consistently, slinging for years, and still don't get their props. You know, there's legends in my book who might not be legends in yours. And vice versa. Because I've seen people go up there, hit the runway, and do these things, give 110% consistently in New York, balls in New Jersey, balls in Connecticut, balls in Atlanta. All right, and they don't get the props that they should get. So when they come back to New York, it's like, yeah, I did it, I got my 10s, but I didn't get the trophy. In my mind, they're a legend because they've been slaying the same category for the past 10 years. All right, consistently. But for whatever reason, they're not getting that legendary status. But in my book, they're a legend.
All right.
In my book.
Definitely show support. It's definitely a positive thing when you show your support. Real quick, Jonathan Latex, what are the 5 basic principles of realness?
The 5 basic... Oh, shit. The 5 basic principles of realness. Son, the 5 basic principles of realness are, number 1, real guys don't talk.
Okay.
All right, real guys don't talk. We do our thing. All right, we do our thing, and we don't talk about it. All right, we do it, we don't talk about it. You're not going to hear a true, real brother talking about, yo, I slept with this one, I got that one, I did it. You're not going to hear that from us. That's just something we don't do.
Okay.
It's not good, it's not bad. I'm not slighting anybody who does, but that's just something we don't do. All right.
Discretion is advised.
yeah. You know, we just don't talk. You know what I'm saying? We do our thing. We don't talk. The 5 basic principles. That's a good question.
That's 2. You got 2. Give me 3 more.
That's the good. Let me see. One basic principle I can say of realness is that it's not always the realness that you see in the ballroom. Not every real dude, not every guy who walks realness is a hustler. Not every guy who walks realness is slinging drugs, all right? And at one point in time, that was the criteria for realness.
Oh, wow.
You know, and it's a shame. Yeah, at one point in time, like how much money you make.
Stereotype, basically, in order to be you had to be a thug, gangster, hustler.
Right, exactly. When the bottom line is, the category calls for realness. Realness is a gay man who can fit into heterosexual society without being, as we say, spooked. You know, a brother who can walk down, you know, a guy who can walk. Yeah, a guy who can walk down the street and no one's gonna say, "Yo, I know that dude is gay." You know, and it's not a case of us trying to hide it. For some of us, it was. You see, because of the families that we came from, or because of the jobs that we had, some of us had to just keep it on the low. You know, keep it quiet. And there were those who were embarrassed or ashamed because that's what their nature was, but it just didn't fit into what society said was right. You know, so as far as oh man, that's a wicked question. The 5 basic principles of realness. I can.
Okay, so you gave me 3 so far. Okay, now give me 2 more. The last 2. When you bring it out a ball, what are the 5 basic principles of realness? Okay, you gave me be different in the forms of realness that you bring it in, right?
Right.
That was one of them. Another one was realness categories you don't speak. There's no speaking, right?
yeah, we just don't talk.
And then you don't talk. Do what you're doing, you don't talk about it. The third one was, help me remember that one.
Well, if you're real, you just be yourself.
Right.
If you're real, if you fit into the category of ballroom realness, then you just be yourself.
I think it should be.
Yeah.
It should be, you know, the form that you bring it. 1. Okay. 2. It should be if your realness or serving realness. We should add in the voice because we need to hear you speak. You know what I mean? 2. That's another form. That's another element.
Okay.
3. We could say, how real are you? What are other things? So bring props into the game. Make sure that you can seal it when you're serving realness. You know what I mean? So if someone comes up to the stage he's giving you competition or whatever, you gotta turn it up. You know what I mean? You gotta turn up and you gotta pull a stunt or something. Always be ready with a realness twist, a realness stunt. You know what I mean?
I can't really go with that one. Only because realness is a category that doesn't require props.
Okay.
It doesn't require props. You know, you've got categories like, you know, Bush Queen Vogue and Femme with a fan. You know, that's a prop. If you real, you real. You don't need a prop. You don't need to hit the runway with a bag of dope. You don't need to hit the runway with a bag of money. You need to hit the runway as you are. You know what I'm saying? As you are. Because the whole thing is that you're real. Alright? The whole idea is that you can walk down the street and not get spooked, like I said. So you don't need a prop. Every dude is not going to walk down the street with a baseball bat in hand talking about, you know, don't mess with me, I'm real. You know, I went to a ball one time and it was a little category. I walked in, I got my 10, that's cool and everything, but the guy that came behind me was wearing a baseball hat that said real on it. And that didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, you shouldn't have to advertise you're real. If you're real, son.
Right.
No props. No, you know what I'm saying? No props. I don't know.
All right, well, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. Call us up if you have the answer to the 5 elements of realness. All right? We're going to skip on to the next question because...
What'd you get in there?
Where do you think this cultural movement is evolving today with this whole ballroom scene movement?
Where is it moving to?
Yeah. Where's it elevating to? Where do you think the future of ballroom scene is going to end up?
I think the future of the ballroom scene at one point in time is going to end up at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to end up at Madison Square Garden because the interesting thing about it, the whole ballroom scene, the whole house community, is that a lot of it is built on tradition. But as time goes on, the younger ones are going to get more excited the younger ones are going to want to bring it to a different level. I mean, now you can look online and you can see entire balls online on YouTube. Whereas back in the day, it wasn't like that. You had to go and sit through it. You know, so as far as where it's elevating, how it's elevating, or where it's going, like I said, at one point in time, I think it's going to end up at Madison Square Garden. But even if it does end up at Madison Square Garden, it's still going to keep the basic street element of what the whole ballroom scene was about. Because initially, you can have all the YouTube channels you want, but initially, the whole ballroom house scene was about searching for family. Right? You got 13, you had 13, 14-year-old kids who were gay and got kicked out of their house because mom and daddy said, no, we're not having that. So they go and they search. And they look for someone to fill that void. We've heard it before. And that's where the whole house thing comes from. That's where the whole family thing comes from. And I really hope that even if we do end up at Madison Square Garden, even if we do end up with a, as corny as it might sound, some BS reality show, we still keep that element of family. We still keep that element, that street element. We still keep that, because that's tradition. That's tradition. And you have to, just like I said about some of the legends, they paved the way for us, so you got to keep the tradition going. You have to keep that candle lit. You have to keep that candle lit. Yes. As far as where the whole is going, I think you'll see more of it, like I said, on YouTube. You're doing a great job with what you're doing, because you're taking it to a different, for real, because you're taking it to a whole different level. Okay, you're taking it to a whole different level.
On which way? Because I'm doing so many things.
Say again?
On which way? Because I'm doing so many things in the ball scene right now.
Well, I mean, you're taking it to a level that we didn't have back in the day.
Right, like the radio show.
Because, the radio show, the ballroom scene radio show, the outreach online. That's I think is a great idea, because that you can give people a safe space. They can call, they don't have to give their names. They can talk about how, they had a slip up and they're worried, what should they do? Where can they get help? Things like that.
For the featured presentation, by the way. BallroomSceneRadio.com. We do have special features. We're not just a social network. There's games, there's lotto games. We advertise all the balls all around the states. And we got the tea and games, fun prizes, and we also on Thursdays we got cash prizes. So y'all would want to tune in and play one of the sweepstakes, Ballroom Scene Radio sweepstakes, one of our live radio challenges, and win the mystery prize. I have Jonathan Latex once again in the building. Yes.
All right.
I'm so glad that we got in contact and that you're actually on the show. I'm
I am
honored to be honest.
Oh, well, I thank you. I'm just me. I was a proud member of the House of Latex. I still carry the name. It was a great time in my life. I met some wonderful, wonderful people, present company included. Even though we lost touch over the years, but it was great. It was a happy time. It was a good time. I got to meet a lot of interesting people. Go to a lot of different places that I would not have gone to, and these people I would not have met had I not been involved in the ballroom scene. Had I not been involved, I wouldn't have met them. And they're great. It was a good time. It was a really good time.
What was your most scandalous moment that you ever experienced through this whole ballroom scene experience?
Let me see. Scandal. And scandal. Let me see. Scandal. All right, I'm not gonna mention no names. I have heard that someone in a legendary house was their criteria for bringing kids into their house was that they had to sleep with them first.
What?
Yeah, that was the criteria. Like, if you want to be in my house, then you got to sleep with me first.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Now, that was scandalous, as you say, but it also, that pissed me off. Personally, it pissed me off. And as a matter of fact, I was sitting talking to a couple of people one night after a ball. We had gone to get something to eat, and we were sitting there talking about it. And we were really kind of disgusted by it because, once again, we got down with the ballroom scene with the House of Latex specifically to do this work.
Right.
And to hear that, you know, someone who is bringing kids into their house, okay, you want to be down with my house because my house is legendary, you want to be known, you want to carry this name, okay, you're going to have to do this for me. When, again, initially, it was a case of, if you want to be down with this legendary house, you're going to have to walk a ball, get a trophy, right, and then we take you, you know, and then we take you in. And then that's the initially, you know, and that was the most scandalous thing that I remember hearing. And, you know, I just had to, being the kind of person that I am, I had to put my foot down and just stay away from that individual because I didn't like the way that they were running their house. Now, how you run your house is your business, okay? But you can't run your house that way and then come to me and ask me about HIV and AIDS prevention when, you know, I'll be talking to deaf, I'm talking to deaf ears, you're not listening.
You've really got my mind blown away with this.
No, I mean, you know,
this isn't a scam.
Real
this
isn't
is tea.
But nah, it's only tea, as you put it. I'm not getting I'm not getting no names, yo.
No, I'm only kidding. Jonathan, thank
I'm
you
not
so
getting
much.
no.
I really appreciate
No, my pleasure. My pleasure, baby. My pleasure.
It was great. And hold on a second. You want to give any shout outs or to anybody out there, you know, any special thank yous? Real quick.
You know what? Let me give a shout out to.
There should be a minute because, you know, this is going to the whole Ball and Scene radio station, so and everyone's going to hear it. So
right.
You might want to rep. You feel me? Let's go, Jonathan. 1, 2, 3.
I want to give a shout out to my boy, who's a really, really good person. He has grown up so much from when I first met him, Mr. Jesse Revlon. I want to give a shout out to my boy Dennis Revlon. Gotta give a shout out to my boy JONATHANE LATEX. I want to give a shout out to two dear sisters actually, Brenda Revlon and Jasmine Revlon. They're good people. I love them a lot, and they are real examples of what happens when you mature and when you grow up. They have grown up to be wonderful young men and women, and I'm very, very, very proud of them. I also want to give a shout out to my boy Danny, because I miss him. Yeah, I miss Danny. Haven't seen Danny in a while, but it's good that we can connect with him.
Danny Stretch Ninja.
Yeah, always. I'm gonna give a shout out to him.
Shout out to the House of Ninja, Danny Stretch Ninja, Ruby Ninja, and all the ninjas worldwide.
Yeah, don't forget Milton.
Yeah, Milton. Yes.
Yeah. Much love to all of them. Much love to all of them. I still am and will always be LATEX.
Yes, LATEX. What about Albert, Santana, EVC?
Oh, always. And of course, Torrance. You know, that was my first mom and daddy. You know, that was my first ballroom mom and daddy. So, you know, you got to give shout outs to them because, once again, they paved the way. They showed me how to do it. And hopefully, I did them proud in the past. Hopefully, I do them proud in the future.
Don't forget Blue, Lamore, Latex, Cypress.
Yeah, Blue is one of my favorite things. Blue is one of my favorite things. I love Blue. My whole Latex family, yo. My whole Latex family.
Once a Latex?
My whole Latex family. And some, you know, there are some Revlon, there are some people at one point in time were Latex members. You know, so, you know, I got to give them props as well. I got to give them much love because they were there when I was there. You know, some of them I mentored, you know. And it's good to see how they're grown. It's really good to see how they're grown.
Yeah.
And we give a shout out to you, man. You're doing your thing.
Of course.
Oh, of course.
Izzy Latex.
You over here. Yeah, you're over here doing your thing. Over here doing your thing. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
No diggity.
You wear many hats and you wear them well.
Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate that. That means a lot to me, by the way.
No, boys. It's from the heart.
All right, Jonathan Latex. What's up? What's up? What's up? Anything else? We got a cover?
I think we got a cover. Hey, whatever you want to know. Just
all right, one more question. What's your favorite ballroom scene classic song?
Probably The Witch Doctor. Yeah,
Speaking of the Witch Doctor, I want to give a special shout out to Angel 007, Angel Camacho, for over 20 years, Infinity, but now 007. And I also want to give a shout out to Jay Blahnik, Father Jay Blahnik, for turning it out this year in 2014 with Boombox. His new album is fire. I have it on the air all the time, so you guys gotta definitely tune into ballroomsceneradio.com and tune into a couple of jams, and also tune into his old episode where we had a listening party for Boombox. Actually, me and Jay Blahnik, we did a remix to 2014. It's called The Witch Doctor Resurrection. You can find it on both of our SoundCloud pages. So if you want, you can just go to soundcloud.com/Jay Blahnik. Or you can go to soundcloud.com/Starstruck Records. Or just search Izzy Infinity.
Well, you know what? Let me throw this in real quick. You see what you're doing?
Right.
This is the next phase.
Yes.
Of the whole ballroom thing.
Oh.
Yeah, for real, you have to be made aware of this, that, what you guys are doing is the next step. What you guys are doing you're showing people who don't know about the ballroom scene or who don't know about the house scene that it's not just about winning a trophy. You can take what you learned on the runway and take it to the furthest extent. Excuse me. Right, you can take it right to the real world. You don't have to stay right there in the ballroom.
Right. It starts in the ballroom and ends in the endless, infinite skies. Once again, I have Jonathan Latex, straight out of New York City, and your boy Izzy Infinity here on ballroomsceneradio.com, the hottest station on the internet nation. Don't forget, hit us up 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. Hit us up at Twitter at Ballroom Radio. Don't forget, hit us up at Facebook.com/Ballroom Scene Radio. It's about time to go, and let's say goodbye. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Goodbye. You ready?
Goodbye. Much love, y'all.
Tell all the queens how it be. Get tens or chops.
Streaming around the planet on the World Wide Web.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jonathan Latex. You already know, hit us up 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. You're tuning in to ballroomsceneradio.com. Let's get it cracking with the rest of the show. My best friend, one of my closest good buddies, DJ Atmosphere, turning it up at the New Generation presents Animation Domination Board 9 o'clock, Saturday, March 29th at First Dance Studios, 5098 North 66th Street, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33709. Already know what you heard. It's your boy Izzy, Infinity, QuarantineRadio.com is where it's at. His little light, Kevin, ambiance, with the cut. 347-709-0655 is number to dial. I'm spending a little bit more and I'm calling it quits for the night. Alright?
This is Pioneer Lifetime Achiever, Icon Kevin Omni, and you are now tuned in to the Everyday Party Network. BallroomSceneRadio.com.
Infinity.
Here's one of my new exclusive tracks, y'all.
She's also pussy. She's also pussy. Pussy, 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 my pussy's gone. Pussy, 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 my pussy's going. Looking, acting, talking, feeling, serving, sucking. I'm walking, feeling, looking, acting, walking. My pussy's turning, daisy like a feeling. She's pussy, she's gone. 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 She's also pussy, 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 pussy's gone. Pussy gone, pussy gone, pussy gone, pussy gone, pussy gone, pussy gone, my pussy's gone. Pussy, 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 my pussy's gone. Pussy, 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 feeling, looking, acting, talking, feeling, serving, sucking. I'm walking, feeling, looking, acting, walking. My pussy's turning, dainty like a pussy. She's pussy.
Infinity.
She's pussy. feeling good, looking good, acting good, walking good. My pussy's good, turning good, dainty like a feminine heart. Good pussy, good pussy's good, pussy good, pussy good, pussy good, pussy good. My pussy's good, good pussy, 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 pussy's good. She's pussy, she's good, 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 she's also feeling, looking, acting, talking, feeling, serving, sucking, I'm walking, feeling, looking, acting, walking, my pussy's turning, dainty like a feeling, looking, acting, talking, feeling, serving, something, I'm walking, feeling, looking, acting, walking, my pussy's turning, dainty like a feminine feeling, looking, acting, talking, feeling, serving, something, I'm walking, feeling, looking, acting, walking, my pussy's turning, dainty like a feminine
The look, the attitude, the walk.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to say goodnight. Once again, thanks for tuning in to BallsingRadio.com, the hottest station on the internet nation. It's your boy, Izzy Infinity Owens. 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. Hit us up on Twitter at Ballroom Radio, or hit us up at Facebook.com/Ballsing Radio. Also want to give a very special shout out to DJ Atmosphere, House of Infinity, House of Ninja, House of Ultra Omni, House of LaBeija, House of Latex, Raji, House of Infinity. Once again, power, no shade. We're bringing it to the Animation Domination Ball. Don't forget, it's going down Saturday, March 29th, 9 o'clock p.m. at One Dance Studio, or First Dance Studio, 9058 North 66th Street, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33709. Also want to give a shout out to Always Serving Production, turning it up. Don't forget, look out soon for Ball Scene Magazine coming soon, and LGBT Records coming very, very soon. Also, once again, I want to give a shout out to the House of Blonick. Father Jay Blonick, you're the best.
Talk about a legend, talk about a statement, talk about a star. You know who you are. Can I see just for me? N to the A to the U to the D to the H to the T to the Y is naughty bastard. The naughty bastard himself. N to the A to the U to the D to the H to the T to the Y. Naughty boy, little naughty boy. Work. M to the O to the R to the N to the I to the N to the G. Morning boner, that's me. Boner, that's me. Talk to the talk, get a legendary talk. Interview cut is what I want. Spinning the tea and hanging the kiki. The ballroom scene, make a bitch wanna be. Cause you're trapped in the alley, nowhere to go. Serve the paddle and talk about your own bitch read. Spill tea, tell all the queens how it be. Get tens or chopped.
Once again, Ballsing Radio, the hottest station on the internet nation.